I reminded myself to breathe deeply before my insides took control of my body again. My back pain became less intense. I focused on the brightest star in the sky. Malik had called me his star. Was I that one? Or maybe the smaller one next to it, the one that kept disappearing? I needed to get back up and find Malik. I imagined him on the charpai that we shared at night. It was a cool night, but he would have stayed outside. He would be listening to these hyenas and wondering why they were howling. I could hear the dogs now, too. Where were they? What had happened? What was causing such a commotion? I pulled myself off the stump and began walking toward the canal. A few fireflies were still dancing on the water. How long would they live? They died when their light went out. My backache returned. This time it became intense, heavy. It was as if my baby were pushing against my stomach with her feet and leaning heavily against my back, and my breathing became shallow again and the dry heaving returned. I needed to call out for Malik, for anyone to come. My voice would travel at this time of night, but I could not bring myself to call out. I was now crossing the canal and could hear the hyenas, and they were calling from the cane fields. What had happened? Why would they not stop calling? My fear began reaching for my heart. It was now feasting on my insides, and it began to suffocate me. I covered my mouth with my dupatta to keep my breath from escaping, and I needed to move on and not let this fear paralyze me. My eyes strained as I peered into the darkness in front of me. Shadows moved, even though the night was still. I tripped over a rock and steadied myself. I was halfway between Safia's house and our hovel. Would anyone even find me before it was too late? A thin mist descended on the canal, and from the fields a rat-like animal scuttled in front of me and jumped into the water. What could have terrified it so to make it take its own life by drowning? What was hiding low in the fields? Was it someone crouching, concealing itself from the hyenas? Or was there something more ominous?